how many times you went on a website and you saw 500 reviews from, those review sites, and people don't believe that. People don't believe that anymore.
I think people mistake ChatGPT for running a business on AI because they have like a subscription to ChatGPT.
There's a good use of AI, and I think there's a bad use of AI. So I think I've gave you some good use of AI, but bad use of AI, I call it, the spam cannon.
Welcome back to another episode of the Bridge the Gap podcast powered by Revenue Reimagined. Today's guest is Omer Gotlieb, who's the founder and CEO of SalesSpeak.ai and former co-founder of Totango. Omer spent his career fixing the disconnect between how B2B companies sell, and get this is the important part, y'all, how buyers want to buy. With SalesSpeak, he's built an AI sales brain that turns your website into a conversation, helping companies create 30% more qualified leads without more traffic. This episode is going to chat about the future of AI, and go-to-market, what it means for your website to actually speak sales, how to remove friction from the buying process, and why traditional funnels are giving way to intelligent, self-directed buyer journeys. Omer, thanks for joining the show, man.
Thank you, Adam and Dale. I'm really excited to be here.
Excellent. Appreciate you joining. Adam is having not only tech problems, but he's having speaking problems.
Marbles. I'm on day 2 of a juice cleanse. I've had no food.
If you said AGI, that would have made a lot of sense.
Yeah, listen.
So Omer, thanks for joining. The AI brain behind B2B sales. What's the initial aha moment you had that led you to build SalesSpeak.ai?
Well, after we sold to Tango in 2021, I retired a bit, but I knew I was going to build something new. I mean, I was looking forward to it, but wanted to just lie down for a bit and get rest. And then all of a sudden, ChatGPT came out, and I remember I started, chatting with ChatGPT, and one of my first questions was, "Tell me why Tatango is better than Gainsight, one of our main competitors." And actually, I got a good answer. It was much more biased towards Gainsight. So if I would be a Gainsight salesperson, I would be happy. But it was a high-level response that made sense. And then I started actually playing with it and understood that it's really something that can provide expert-level answers almost immediately. It needs training. It needs, being in a box. There's a lot of things there. But I thought of, if we can provide that kind of experience to our customers, I think that could be something really interesting. So that's where we started. But, thinking about my background, and I've led most of the go-to-market functions into Tango. So I was the first salesperson, of course, and then hired the sales team and then run most of the go-to-market function. So in parallel, I was a seller, I was a sales leader, I was a business owner, and I was always a buyer, right? Because people tried and still trying to sell me a lot of things. And it took me a while to understand that there's a lot of friction, a lot of frustration on both sides that I didn't think technology was able to solve until I saw what ChatGPT and other LLMs were actually able to do.
So I think people mistake ChatGPT for running a business on AI because they have like a subscription to ChatGPT. And a lot of products out there are pretty ChatGPT or Claude wrappers. When you talk about the product, you've described it as an AI sales brain. Talk to me about what that's, and I don't want to call it fancy buzzwords, but what does that mean like in real life for a B2B company? And in full transparency of the audience, I went to your website, it's running its less than 5-minute thing on my website. So I'm excited to actually see it. But what does that mean in layman's terms?
Well, here's the thing. And by the way, we're expanding even more on the website, because what led me eventually to do what we're doing in SalesPeak is really trying to understand, how can we make a better buying experience? I think AI is changing everything about the B2B buying behavior, how they find you, how they research you, how they expect to communicate with you, how they're making decisions. But yet, a lot of B2B companies are still running, legacy technology and old playbooks. So how do we fix the buying process? And when I thought about it, at least for me, in B2B, it's really about having intelligent conversation. if I'm going to buy a new CRM, if I'm going to buy a new HR system, if I'm going to buy a new cybersecurity, whatever it is, you give me 2 minutes to speak with the CTO, the CPO, maybe the founder, maybe the best SE, that would be amazing. I'm not saying I would make a final buying decision after 2 minutes, but based out of those 2 minutes, I know whether I want to spend time with this company. I'll need to check other things as well. And by the way, I also think it's good for the company. So what I'm telling our customers, imagine the founder is at the front of the website and they're able to actually have conversations with anybody that is coming and really answer everything that they have. But instead of answering questions, it's just a very minor part. Of course, you need to be able to answer questions. By the way, I'm assuming most of the sales team do not know how to answer all the questions. But answering questions is table stake. What our AI is able to do is really trying to help the customer. We do calculate their intent. We do run some kind of a discovery process and qualification. But more important, we guide them to a goal that our customers define. And the goal could vary, right? It could be, hey, it's a small product and you're ready. Why don't you buy it? Or you know what? We understand that you need a much deeper level discussion. Let me schedule right now the meeting with the right person for you. Or maybe, just come see me an event or just see a video. All those kinds of things can actually be done automatically. So first, of course, it helps with higher conversion rate because you compare that to a static website or a junior SDR team is doing a much better job. But second thing, think of really what would happen if you put the founder at the front of the website. That founder will go back later to the marketing team and will say, hey, everybody's mentioning our competitor. Everybody's looking for a feature that we don't have. Everybody that you brought in from a specific marketing campaign is asking the wrong question. Remember the feature we launched 3 months ago? Nobody asks about it. So all of a sudden, there's a lot of insights that the marketing team can actually get and be able to identify content gaps, messaging gap, website gaps. So basically what we're seeing here is intelligent conversation for both sides. It is intelligent for the buyer and helping them in the buying journey, but also intelligent for the company. So what we do in SalesPeak is trying to, however the customer, the buyer is finding you, however they're coming to you, whether they're coming to your website or they're sending you an email or, what happens if they're going to ChatGPT? Can we make those conversations intelligent for both ways and eventually create a win-win situation? So when I'm saying a brain and a sales brain, that's more or less for me the combination of having an intelligent conversation with the user, but also providing insights back to the company.
So if we double click on that a little bit more, would you say that the SalesPeak is more a AI knowledge base where there's like really good knowledge? Because what I've seen with a lot of prior to AI, we've had a lot of data. There's just data all over the place, whether it's good data, bad data. But the challenge had always been, how do you get it to a digestible format for people to take it in through, like, let's take a buying journey, for example, take it in so that they can understand. And it's not like everybody else is talking about, because there's so much noise. So there's data and there's noise. And so does SalesPeak become like a distinguishable knowledge base to help digestible content?
I think it's a great example, but I think knowledge base is level 0. Yes, we do. One of the first thing our AI is doing is actually learning everything about the company, from website, from documents. It actually takes a few minutes, but it does encapsulate all the knowledge that they have. And I don't think there are a lot of people in that company that has all this knowledge. But again, our goal is not to educate the customer. Of course, we have to educate the customer, but our goal is to provide them with the right information that will be correct for them, but also guide them into a buying journey, hopefully a favorable decision to make a buying decision there. I'll give you an example. If somebody's going to ask me why my previous company, Tutango, is better than Gainsight, first of all, I'm not going to answer. The first thing I'm going to do is really identify who's the person. Why are they asking? What do they know about us and about Gainsight already?
What does
the
better
role?
mean to you?
What is yeah? And eventually, I probably have 5 different answers why Tutango is better than Gainsight. Each one of them is correct, by the way. But for you, Dale, there's one specific answer right now that I think will make you make your decision. And for Adam, there might be another. So that's what we're doing. But there's also another way. Dale, you might want to consume information by reading long text. Adams want to see a video. I
Dale
want to
does
speak with
not
a
like to
person.
read.
Each one of us wants to consume information differently. So
Yeah.
our AI can also identify this and really present you the information in the way that is digestible for you, for your role, for your stage in the journey, for your background, and do that. And again, that's not an easy problem to solve, but we're doing, I think, a good job in that. And of course, we're only beginning. But that's why I'm saying sales is difficult. It's not answering question. Of course, you have to answer the question, but it's not. It's far from being enough.
So I want to click on that because you talked about how Dale might, and Dale definitely doesn't want to read long form content, but Dale might want to, it might be a very different answer to Dale versus a different answer to me. And I think that's true, right? Like if someone says, how is Totango better than Gainsight? Whether you're talking to a sales rep, a leader, a manager, a finance person, everyone who touches customer success, different is better to different people, right? I tell a story all the time that when I test drove my first Tesla, the guy spent the 30-minute test drive telling me how great the sound system was, and that's why I should buy the car. And while some people might really appreciate the 18-speaker sound system, I could care less about that. What I wanted to talk about was the performance. So same thing, and I think that speaks to buyers' journeys, right? We all want to consume information differently. We want to buy differently. And the buyer's journey doesn't necessarily equate to the sales journey or the sales process. Like we talk all the time about your sales stages. Like no buyer is ever going to say, I'm in discovery. Like that doesn't happen. When you say that the buying process is self-directed, talk to me about what you mean by that and how teams need to adapt to buyers not wanting to spend 7 hours of demos with you.
So let me start with something much more, I think, basic, but really important. In marketing schools, the first thing they teach is really basics, design for the buyer, design for the customer. But if you look at the buying journey, that 99%, including, by the way, Totango that we've done before, 99% of the B2B companies designed, they are designed for the customer, for the company, and not the customer. I'll give you an example. 3 things usually that I see. One is, the graveyard of forms. You can't get information until you identify. No. Fill in the details, and by the way, fill in your business email. That's one thing. The second thing is, the qualification gauntlet, right? You don't get to speak with or get this information unless I know some things about you, and maybe Dale, you're qualified, but Adam, you're not. And the
He's never
third thing
qualified.
is what I call the bottleneck for an expert. Yes, you're qualified. Yes, but I don't know this answer. I'll need to bring an SC, and that SC will need to bring another. And we're making buyers jump through hoops just to get the information that they need. Now, I did that before, and I completely understand why companies did that because financially, we're not able to allocate our best resources, our best AE, our best SE, and to speak with everybody. But think of the other side. Think of the buyers today, and we spoke about how AI is changing the journey, right? So ChatGPT, Gemini, Anthropic, they're educating each one of us that we can get instant level expert immediately, right? Did you guys ever ride a Waymo, driven in a Waymo? I remember my first 2 minutes in a Waymo. It was like, oh my God, that's like, what happens after 2 minutes in San Francisco? There's another Waymo, there's another Waymo, there's another Waymo, right? Our expectations of experiences are actually going up and up and up every day. Adam, you mentioned Tesla. Can we compare the experience of buying a Tesla with on a phone versus going to a car dealership? It's like those things are. I can give you 10,000 examples. Every one of us on the day-to-day business and personal life are being educated that we can get information differently. We're exposed to data differently. And yet you're telling me that these people that a minute ago used Anthropic to brainstorm the board meeting or, marketing plan, now they need to go to your website, fill up a form, wait a few hours until a junior person is going to call them. It's not going to help them schedule a meeting with an AE. That AE is great, but doesn't know, 10%. How can that work? How can that work? And so when I'm saying, intelligent conversation, remove friction, and self-directed, I think companies need to move forward to that. If we'll put the buyer first, and I think one of the great skill set of a marketer or a founder is really the ability to be in the other person's shoes, be in the buyer's shoes. I'll give you another example. I always make fun of it. I was presenting in front of like 400 entrepreneurs. I didn't tell them what I'm doing. I just went on stage and asked two questions. Who here likes to speak with an SDR? Who likes to get spam emails? Why are we doing it to our customers? And once you understand that, and you understand that AI, and that's what really excites me about AI can help you create new and different experiences.
People buy from people. That's why companies who invest in meaningful connections win. The best part? Gifting doesn't have to be expensive to drive results. Just thoughtful. Sendoso's intelligent gifting platform is designed to boost personalized engagement throughout the entire sales process. Trust me, I led sales for a Sendoso competitor, and I can tell you, no one does gifting better than Sendoso. If you're looking for a proven way to win and retain more customers, visit sendoso.com.
And they can get you to the same goal. You'll still be able to move the customer to the journey. You'll still be able to identify them if they want to be identified, by the way. And you'll be able to actually make it much more intelligent. Now, I don't think this is just, a winning advantage. This is table stakes. Really. And, I know about me. If I'm going to go to a B2B website and there's not going to be any AI on it, I'm probably going to shift away. Now, maybe I'm one of the very, very, very early adapter, but let's take a year from now. That's what's going to happen. People are going to get used that AI is helping them in every way, and they're not going to, continue to adapt with the sales processes today.
Totally true. I do think there's like this evolution happening, and we should never be. In most cases, we should be not guarding content or guarding information that people really need to make decisions. Because if you give them any type of reason to bounce off your website or any piece of content, they definitely will. What's one thing that most B2B websites get completely wrong about how the buyer is making a decision today? Is it the gating, or is there something else besides the gating?
I think one, it's a combination of the gating. I would also call it lack of visibility and trust. I'll give you two examples. Okay, pricing, comparative information. Many companies, no pricing. You have to speak with us. Comparative information doesn't know that. So what I'll give you an example. My friend called me last week. He told me I was actually researching a company. And then I decided to go to the website. And I didn't find what I need. So I went to ChatGPT and asked it. And then it took me to another route. So one is really, you need to expose more information. I'm not saying you don't have to have your exact direct pricing. I understand that pricing could be, sensitive, but give me some kind of a framework that I'll know if I want to continue the competitive information. If you're not going to provide me that, I'm going to leave. The other side is,
and
also,
by the way, your competitors know how much what you're pricing anyways. So.
Yeah, everybody knows everything.
Absolutely right.
So,
the pricing's not the secret you think it is.
Nothing is a secret. By the way, that's the reason that I'm showing my product to everybody. It's open. Everybody can use it. There's no secret. I think eventually you win by execution and not by hiding things. Lack of trust. How many times you went on a website and you saw 500 reviews from, those review sites, and people don't believe that. People don't believe that anymore. They're going to go call their friends, or they call their, professional group and ask if those things are correct or not correct. So I think, again, we'll need to decide or design the websites and other communication channels into what the new, I would say, AI-oriented buyer is actually looking for. We could get into a longer discussion about what is the future of the website, or is there a future of the website? Because again, there could be different answers as well. Whether there's a website for a human and a website for a machine, it could be also another approach as well. But I think the goal is really design it for the buyer.
That's super interesting, whether there's a different website for a human or a machine. Like when you look at the human side of sales, and I do believe that sales is a deeply human business.
I agree.
Yet AI is handling so much of the sales journey now. how do you balance that automation of like AI with like when do, I'll use Dale's words, when do we have the human in the loop, right? And people are different. I would like nothing more, and it's a bad example of a car, but 9 out of 10 things, I would like nothing more than to never have to talk to a human. There are other people that are the exact opposite.
Adam,
He
let me
still
ask you a
doesn't like to talk
question.
to
Let me
humans.
ask you a question. Okay, you're about to make a decision about a car, and
Yep.
you don't want to speak with a salesperson. Would you? But you know that Johnny, your friend, actually has a Tesla. Would you call him and ask what he thinks?
I mean, I wouldn't buy a Tesla again, but that's another show.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. That's what we do, whether it's a
And
car, whether it's a restaurant, no matter what
the
it is.
reason you're doing that is because you're looking for other data points from
Mm-hmm.
trusted sources, right?
Yes.
And I think a good role of AI plus a combination of a salesperson is, can I be a trusted source? Which means I really know everything, but you can also trust me. Now, we know what some people think of some salespeople, and I'm going to put that aside. But uh,
The used car
uh,
salespeople.
and I think sales needs to change a bit. I don't think anybody is going to buy $100,000 solution without speaking with a person. I don't think that's
Agreed.
going to happen, right? But the role of that salesperson might be changed. Before, the role was, I'm just going to provide you information, going to convince you. Maybe the role is now much more focused on, let me guide you to the journey. Let me bring you the right resources. Let me be a trusted resource that you need. Maybe a project manager. Um, the other thing is that, listen, I remember being frustrated with my own sales team into Tango. I was with them on a sales call, and I was, oh, but why they don't know that? And why did they answer that? And the reason is because it's very difficult. Me as a founder, I know to answer any question, right? You can ask me about the product, the technology, the pricing, the competition, the vision, everything. I can't expect, a salesperson to own those kinds of things, but I can expect that from AI. So
Hmm.
again, I think designing and different companies have different customers, right? You cannot compare Palantir with their buying journey into, I don't know, ClickUp or Lovable, right? It's a completely different buying journey, buyer's persona, requirements, things like that. But the combination is, if I can provide a source that you can trust and lead you to a great experience, that would be a win-win. So for me, that's how I look. When we're helping companies design this, is I look about, what's going to be a great experience from the buyer point of view with a trusted source that they can actually make decisions based on that. Sometimes, by the way, I'll give you another example. When I speak with customers, sometimes the output is, I'm sorry, Adam, that's not a good fit. We're not a good fit for you,
As it should
right?
be.
And I think, if we'll fine tune to that and we'll make sure that that is the right answer. I may miss a sale here, but good, because that's going to be a bad sale. Uh, but again, these are basics, right? I've learned that 20, 30 years ago. I think we've forgotten that along the way. And I think AI is actually going to create a revolution because buyer expectations are changing every day.
Agreed. Couldn't agree more.
So, as you're moving forward, what was some of the lessons from Tutango and beyond? Like, you built it as a leading customer success platform, but what lessons in that journey are helping you shape the way you're doing the buying journey today at SalesSpeak?
I wish I could tell you, because to be really, really honest, running a company now versus running a company 10 years ago into Tango, 5 years ago into Tango, even 2 years ago when you started SalesPeak, is a completely different ballgame. Like, everything is different. What I
How
can do
often
right
do you
now,
think it's changing? Do you think it's changing? Like, I see it like every 3 to 6 months things are changing, but I'm curious
it is.
as you're leading this.
I completely agree. Is changing rapidly on everything, on what it means to actually build a company, on what it means to raise money, what it means to actually have a competitive advantage, and what it is your go-to market. Everything is changing all the time. So it is exciting, it is challenging. But I think the core principles I've learned in Tutango is, really, and Tutango still is the customer success platform. It's about putting the customer in the middle. And if you can design for the customer, if you can provide amazing experiences, and if you can remove frictions, And removing friction, I think it's critical. Pre-sale, post-sale, you're going to be in a better position. Now, the things we're focusing on, in SalesPeak today, right now, you have to rise above the noise. You have to have a unique story. You have to have a unique point of view, and you have to have an amazing product. And that's really table stake. Before that, if you had an amazing product, you're probably 80% of the way, 90% of the way. Today, I think it's actually table stake. Again, it's because of the expectation. If, I'm getting used to so many amazing expectation experiences, I can't settle for something less than that. So these are mainly the lessons I've brought in from Tutango. I am learning every day, literally. I'm learning every day, and I'm really excited about it. But it is completely different building a company now versus a year ago, 2 years ago, and definitely 10, 12 years ago.
So looking back, like if you had access to today's AI tools back when you were building Totango, what would you have done differently, or what do you think would have happened differently?
Wow.
Loaded
First,
question, right?
yeah, I mean, first of all, probably the company would look different. We would not need so many people, would not need to raise so much money, or maybe use the money in other ways as well. And I think
you guys raised a lot of money.
yeah. And but by the way, when I'm mentoring entrepreneurs and founders, I don't think there's right or wrong. I think you need to be very opinionated, or you need to understand the route that you're taking. Raising a lot of money could be great and could be horrible. Not raising money could be the same, but you need to build the company according to that. I think it would change again the way we run the company, manage the company. But I think the most important part is it allows you to run much quicker iterations on the product. Literally, we ship almost every day in SalesPeak. Amazing thing, not a button here and a button there. We 4 months ago we thought about a new product, and Lior, my CTO, actually spent the weekend, and we had 95% of the product after that. Like literally 95% of the product. An amazing one, right? So again, if you think about competition, if we can do that, competition can do it as well. How do we differentiate? Those things make everything different.
Excellent. I'm a little curious because the go-to-market is changing so quickly as well. So not just the company side, but I'm curious your perspective on AI, not necessarily in the top of the funnel, but as you go through the entire funnel. So more on the back end, the post-sale, the CS side of the world. Where do you see AI transitioning in the back end of the funnel?
I think there are actually a couple of companies, the incumbents and new ones, that are working on some very cool solutions over there. Now, whether that's going to be called customer success, post sales, in the sales department, that's the market will say. But I think the core elements are the same on the pre-sale. Can I be a trusted advisor? Can I guide the customer? Can I help them in an intelligent way? Can I provide insight back to the company? And if you think about what a great sales engineer, post-sales engineer, customer success manager they're doing, they really understand the pain points of the customer, the reason that they bought the product. They have a lot of product knowledge, and they can connect. They can actually show the customer how to use the product in order to solve their pain points, right? So for example, and I'll get back to example I gave before. If somebody is going to ask them, what is this dashboard for, or how to use the dashboard, a good customer success manager would start with first understanding the problems, right? And then, okay, let me show you how you can actually do that in the dashboard. That's a combination of knowledge of the company, knowledge of the customer, and how to do that. Now, do I think AI can replace all those kinds of things? I think, in complicated products, high value products, that's going to be very, very difficult. But I think AI can really help, a company by collecting all the data points, identifying who's the right customer that needs attention right now, preparing content for them, and in some cases also automating everything that a CSM would do. If we talk about post-sales, remember, even there are different type of companies. There are companies that have, a small number of accounts for one CSM, and there are companies that have one customer success manager that owns 5,000 accounts, right? So again, AI can be much more helpful there than others, but I think eventually is, making intelligent things. But I think if you look at the go-to market and how AI is being used, and I've spoken with many, mostly on the marketing side, everybody's under pressure to do something with AI, right? But the first thing they're doing, and that's okay, they're doing things internally, right? What is the first AI product that you guys use? Probably create content internally because that's helping my team. So helping my team being efficient, helping my team be more scalable, maybe some data that I analyzed. I think if you understand that this is just table stakes, that's not enough. That doesn't mean that you're AI first. What really means that you're AI first is, again, look at the entire, I would say, funnel or entire process, whatever process you own, and figure out how can you help your customers. And for me, that's what's really exciting because if we can do something that will help your customers, that's great. And I think every function in every company should think about first, how do we help our customers? And then all the benefits are coming out of it. I think AI is not, that's it. You have AI, you don't need to do anything after that. But it does help you do a lot of things faster than you've done before.
100%. And the mindset of how can we help our customers and how does this benefit the customers? I know we've said something similar for a long time, but at the end of the day, like that is all that matters, especially if you want to survive as a company, because no customers, no company.
But I'll give you, I think we've mentioned there's a good use of AI. I think there's a bad use of AI. So I think I've gave you some good use of AI, but bad use of AI, I call it, the spam cannoning, right? Because right now it's very easy, for example, to create a scalable email that are being sent to everybody. Now, those emails could be smart, right? They know things about you. But the problem is that I'm opening my inbox and I'm getting 500 emails a day. I'm getting text messages, I'm getting LinkedIn messages. Your email could be as smart as it can, but I'm not going to read it because this channel is flooded, like completely flooded. The reason it's flooded is because it's very easy to do. Right now, you can do it with a one-person company, with an AI. You spend 1 hour and it will be good enough. 2 years ago, you had to build infrastructures and pay companies, and it took a lot. And the outcome is we're spamming customers and we're flooding channels. Another example, I know when is the last time you went over LinkedIn, but you can identify that a large percentage of the content in LinkedIn right now is AI generated. It's templatized. I can feel it, I can smell it, I can see
Absolutely.
it like that, which means that in a very short period, unless LinkedIn will do something about it, I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to go there because I don't see value over there. That's another reason, another example of a great channel that is being flooded. So I think the goal of a company, but also the goal of the market, because eventually everybody want to use. I want to consume relevant content from LinkedIn, and as a company, I want to publish converting content in LinkedIn. And if that channel is being spammed and killed, I'm going to have a problem. So I think the market needs to take a good holistic view on this and decide how we want to do that as well. By the way, my point of view, I think that everything here leads into eventually every buyer is going to have a buying agent. Right? I'm gonna instead of hiring somebody else or wasting my time, I'm gonna go to a buying agent and tell him, hey, I'm a VP engineering in a public company. I own a team of 500 people. My main KPIs are this and that. Go figure out what can help me. You speak with the companies. I don't, and eventually let me know who do I need to speak with to make a decision. That's something that is very easy to do with AI, and I think companies needs to adjust to that future that is going to be very soon.
That would not surprise me at all. The LinkedIn thing is a whole separate show that we could go on for an hour about, that I wish we had time for, but you're 100% right. With that, as we start to wrap up here, let's dive into some quick rapid fire. We'll try to keep it to 10 words or less. What metric do you think sales leaders should stop tracking?
Wow. Probably meeting booked. I think that's something that is going to go out of the world again. What does it mean, meeting? Buyers can make decisions without meeting anymore. I don't think that's that important.
So
agree.
besides Sales Speak, what's a startup you're watching right now that's doing AI in the right way, like from a go to
Ooh.
market perspective?
Uh, Different things, but I really look at all with companies like Lovable and even Gamma that do that. My dream as a founder was always, if you can get to the end user virality, that people actually speak about it all the time, but they don't just speak about it. It's actually a great product that is being used. I think Lovable, Replit, all those kinds. Base 34 was like this. Gamma on the other side. They're doing an amazing job. I think it's a combination of product and go-to-market, of course, right? It's not just one of them,
Yeah.
but they were able to create an ecosystem to do that. And it's funny, everybody thinks, I know you said 10 words, but everybody thinks like, oh yeah, in 1 year they've done everything, right? No, it took them 7 years to actually get to a place that then everything actually exploded. But I think that's really great to see.
What's your favorite AI tool that you use right now?
My kids make fun of me. They always tell me, "You go speak with your best friend, Claude." And I think Claude, by the way, Claude and for me, Claude and ChatGPT are
I
great
prefer
tools.
Claude too.
Yeah, are great tools for brainstorming at the CEO level. Like literally, it's not, I've set up my go-to-market advisory board, a virtual one. Like I took, here's the post from this one, and let's share that. I've read some amazing books and actually put some of the content there because, okay, if I would want to implement that technique in the book, what I could do. Hey, I have a challenge with, this and that. So I think for me, on an ongoing basis, Claude and ChatGPT are really amazing brainstorming tools. They help me think which is great. They're not replacing my thinking. They're not making decisions. Some of the things they say do not make sense, but it makes sense enough to open my mind and say, hey, if I didn't think
Yes.
about that, maybe I can actually think about other things as well.
Yeah.
So I'm really using that few hours a day on,
Fine.
on everything, on everything.
Final question. Dream vacation destination. We'll make an easy
We're,
one for you.
Yeah, because we're actually scheduled to go to New Zealand in the winter break.
Nice.
So in an RV. So we're a family that actually like RV trips. We rented an RV and gonna trip around New Zealand in an RV. Really looking forward to it.
That'll be
Hopefully, you're
awesome.
not driving the
That'll be a
RV
fun
to
trip.
New Zealand. Just when you get to New
No.
Zealand.
That would be very interesting.
Maybe in a few years, but no.
That's called a boat, Dale. Just to be clear, not an RV. Omer, SalesSpeak, thank you so much for joining the show. Thank you for sharing about SalesSpeak. Thank you for sharing about AI, where the future is going, what's important, what to avoid. Go check out salespeak.ai, correct? I did it. I just checked it out on our website. Pretty cool. I was playing with it a little bit. Dale will yell at me, but I wanted to see what it was while we were talking here. Go check it out. And Omer, thanks for joining, man.
Thank you very much. Really enjoyed the conversation. I appreciate the time.